Hi, I'm Leon Lovelace, and this is Unstoppable Force. I got a news story for you, and it's from The Guardian, and it's about how the global meat industry is causing more environmental problems. Alright, the global meat industry, already implicated in driving global warming and deforestation, has now been blamed for fueling what is expected to be the worst dead zone on record in the Gulf of Mexico. Toxins from manure and fertilizer pouring into waterways are exacerbating huge harmful algal blooms that create oxygen-deprived stretches of the Gulf, the Great Lakes, and Chesapeake Bay, according to a new report by Mighty environmental group chaired by former Congressman Henry Waxman. It is expected that the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration will this week announce the largest ever recorded dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. It is expected to be larger than the nearly 8,200 square mile area that was forecast for July, an expanse of water roughly the size of New Jersey. I'll skip a little bit. Algal blooms themselves can cause problems, as in Florida last summer when several beaches were closed after they became coated in a foul-smelling green slime. America's vast appetite for meat is driving much of this harmful pollution, according to Mighty, which blamed a small number of businesses for practices that are contaminating our water and destroying our landscape in the heart of the country. The problem is worsening, and regulation isn't reducing the scope of this pollution, said Lucia von Roosner. These companies' practices need to be far more sustainable, and reduction in meat consumption is absolutely necessary to reduce the environmental burden. Then it goes on about how it's not just that the toxins that comes from the meat production causes environmental problems, but just having mass agriculture for meat also produces some environmental problems, because it talks about a highly industrialized and centralized factory farm system resulting in vast tracts of native grassland in the Midwest being converted into soy and corn to feed livestock. Stripped soils can wash away in the rain, bringing fertilizers into waterways. Now, and of course, it also takes away some of the nutrients from those soils and puts it into the water. So it's a little bit harder and harder to grow crops, or for just other natural organisms, grasses and trees in other areas to grow. Arkansas-based Tyson Foods is identified by the report as a dominant influence in the pollution due to its market strength in chicken, beef, and pork. Tyson, which supplies the likes of McDonald's and Walmart, slaughters 35 million chickens and 125,000 head of cattle every week, requiring 5 million acres of corn a year for feed, according to the report. All right, here's where the meat of the story is right here. Yeah, good play on words. All right. This consumption resulted in Tyson generating 55 million tons of manure last year, according to the EPA, with 104 million tons of pollutants dumped into waterways over the past decade. The Mighty research found that the highest level of nitrate contamination correlate with clusters of facilities operated by Tyson and Smithfield. This pollution has also been linked to drinking water contamination. Last week, a report by Environmental Working Group found that in 2015, water systems serving 7 million Americans in 48 states contained high levels of nitrates. Consuming nitrates has been linked to an increased risk of contracting certain cancers. Alright, the U.S. is an enormous consumer of meat, with the average American chewing through 211 pounds in 2015. A study released earlier this year found that U.S. beef consumption fell by nearly 1/5 from 2005 to 2014, possibly due to concerns over health or the environment. A new increase is now expected. So, a big reason why I've cut down on the meat I eat, especially with beef, is because of environmental concerns. That by me eating a lot of beef, or more beef than I need to, I'm helping to chop down way too many forests and converting native grasslands into just soy and cornfields. And it just harms the environment, because then that creates a lot of zones where just natural organisms just start dying off because they have nowhere to live. So it's just a big cycle of just over consuming and just creating different environmental problems just creates more problems, and it just starts this big snowball effect where creating one problem creates two or three other problems that really makes it really difficult to fix. Okay, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, beef and pork production is forecast to grow significantly over the next decade, driven by lower feed costs and a healthy demand. By 2025, the average American is expected to eat 219 pounds of meat a year. Just 3% of Americans follow a vegetarian or vegan diet. If I was a little bit more strong-willed, I'd be able to go to a vegetarian diet and pretty much not even eat any turkey, but not that strong-willed yet. Sometimes I eat eggs too, but not there yet. So I took environmental biology when I was going to my local community college, and one thing we talked about is about how everybody has to chip in to help fix environmental problems and environmental pollution we have and the environmental degradation that we're doing right now, because like this is showing just one person going vegan isn't gonna really reverse a lot of these problems that we're seeing. But if we all could chip in and say, you know what, we're all gonna eat a little bit less meat, we're all gonna do things to try to consume less overall products that we don't need. Like, we're not gonna buy way too many clothes, because a lot of the clothes you wear is at least partially made of cotton, and cotton takes a whole bunch of water to produce. And of course, a lot of places, rainfall is not dispersed equally among the earth. Some places where have massive droughts, and other places has a lot of flooding. So just using a lot of water for just frivolous items that we don't need takes away from some of those resources that we do need, like food production. Make sure everybody in the world is getting fed, because of course now the environment's getting really strained because of the overpopulation that we're experiencing right now. So we just gotta, like I said before, just keep working to try to consume less of the things we don't need, so we could save resources for other people, especially poorer people in a poorer nation. All right, thanks for watching.